It says a lot when you say that a particular ESPN 30 for 30 is one of the best ones that you've seen of the whole crop, because they're all great. But I can say that about my guest who's here in studio. The ESPN 30 for 30 on the U back in 2009, and then the U Part 2, 2014, I guess were sandwiched around broke in 2012. His new release, new documentary called Dawg, D-A-W-G, Fight, is going to be released May 15th on Netflix and at Dawgfight, DAWG-fight.com. Billy Corben, good to see you here, sir.
I came all the way from Miami to, in person and on the record, apologize for stealing your satellite truck last year.
Is that right?
In Miami.
You were the one we finally found out.
I was just going to strip the thing and put it, you know, on blocks, but it was 48 feet long, so I just took the whole damn thing.
Now, so many people were telling me that's such a Miami story. They were like, when I would tell them that, they're like, that's Miami.
I was not shocked that your car got stolen. I was shocked the Dolphins won that week. That was the most surprising thing that happened in Miami.
That's a surprising Miami story for you. Well, the actual trailer itself was found later that night next to, in a Miami-Dade section,
yes,
near a train track. It's the trailer part, the tractor pull part that's never been found. That thing probably got chopped up in about 2 seconds
you don't want to smell that right now. I'll tell you that.
That's
right.
gone.
Yeah,
I think it's gone goodbye. Billy Corben is here in studio. What did you glean from the You documentaries? What did you take away from it that you already didn't know? Somebody from the area who no doubt knew that program inside and out going into that.
Mostly that Jimmy Johnson has life perfected. Mm-hmm. He invited us to his house in the Keys to shoot his interview. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, Coach, if you come back, you should coach again. It's like, why on earth would he want to do that? He's like got the best life ever. And he was like, while we're doing our interview with him, he's just yelling about how, like, come on, boys, I hear the fish snapping, I hear the fish biting. And he literally, when we were done with the interview, he jumps off his chair, runs back onto this like 40, 50-foot Hatteras and disappears into the Atlantic Ocean and goes fishing with his buddies.
That's life
like,
for him.
When I die, I want to come back as Jimmy Johnson's hair. Like that's
of course.
The best life ever.
Me too. Well, and so many people do say that, you know, about coaches. Why wouldn't they come back? Why wouldn't they want to come back? And you just don't know what they're doing. As opposed to coming back to coach. Yeah. And
you just have to visit him in Isla Morada, and you'll be like, I would never want to do anything else ever again. It's amazing. So
he hopped on 3 rings? Is that's the name of his boat?
Well, there was like 3 boats. Like in the background of the shot, while we're doing the interview, his buddies have like sandwiches and beer, and they're like loading the boat in the background of our shot.
Right.
And then like at the end, he just leaps on. Might have been 3 rings, but he had like 2, 3 beautiful fishing boats back there, right on the Atlantic.
The U now, is it a cautionary tale? Or do you view it as just part of a landscape that has yet to be mined on the NCAA front of a program in the 21st or 20th century?
Oh, those days are over. I mean, I think that's the problem, is that like it's not, the game is so professional, even in college ball. It's not as much fun as it used to be. That was the last time, and you could literally say there will never be anything like that again. There will never be a team like that again. There'll never be an attitude like that again. Even when there are, you know, young men who have character and are those kinds of characters, they're completely oppressed in that environment from being themselves, unfortunately.
Now, I'm here with documentary filmmaker Billy Corben. Let's talk about your newest project here. Again, so how many people think it's about dogfighting when it's a dog fight?
We spent almost 5 years working on this on our own time and our own dime, and I would tell people we're working on a movie called Dogfight, 30 for 30 about Michael Vick. Everybody thought, well, people thought Cocaine Cowboys was about Michael Irvin in Dallas. So there's always a lot of confusion, which, by the way, would be a great title for a movie about Michael Irvin.
Although I think knowing Michael Irvin, he would have a problem with that.
Oh, I love Michael. He's the best.
I know.
Playmaker.
The playmaker. He's one of my favorite people. But about this film, why do it? What about this film should people be intrigued by, do you think?
You know, people see that footage, and, I mean, yeah, it's very much in the mold of like a 70s or 80s action movie. It's The Karate Kid or Rocky, but there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more depth, because not only is it real life and these are real people.
So what is it about, I guess?
It's about the scene of, or the subculture in Miami, 22 miles west of South Beach, which is, I think, the 15 blocks of Ocean Drive is what everybody thinks about when they think about Miami.
So people take their talents.
Yeah, this is West Perrine. This is a different part of Miami-Dade where you have a disproportionate number of people unemployed, living below the poverty level, a lot of criminals who don't have opportunities for real jobs. And so they watch Kimbo Slice create this business model, for lack of a better term, of videotaping himself in these unsanctioned bare-knuckle brawls, these illegal events. and basically going pro. And so these guys are literally trying to fight their way out and make a better life for themselves and their families by duplicating that. And one particular guy, Dada 5000, became the Don King of the backyard, where he organized these illegal events, gets the fighters together, puts together a card where he weighs guys in on his mom's broken bathroom scale, and they have a shot at going pro. And we spent almost 2 years shooting this, and during that time we saw 3 or 4 guys go pro right from the backyard, and 2 guys that didn't live that long.
So how do you, Billy Corben, go into this world and say, I want to start peeling back layers and bring cameras and shoot something that's illegal, and you don't know me, you might have seen my work, you know, but how do you do that? How does somebody go about doing that?
You know, what's interesting about that is the University of Miami gave us, like, no support. They were completely obstructionist when we did the U and the U Part 2 for 30 for 30. But these guys who were participating, as you said, in this completely illegal event couldn't have been happier to have us there. I think it comes down to what you have to lose. You know, the University of Miami is protecting their brand and their multi-billion-dollar industry. These guys are looking for that attention. They're looking to get discovered. They're looking for somebody to come and identify them as a talent so that they can hopefully take their talents to the next level.
When you said a couple of guys who didn't live that long, was it because of the fighting, or was it because of their life in the streets?
It was. They died violently. I mean, it's you know, classic, tragic, live by the sword, die by the sword. I mean, people see that footage and they go, Bill, that doesn't even look like America. It looks like the third world. And I say, it is the third world. It's Miami. You look at Miami-Dade, we have like the 2nd highest income disparity of any county in the country, or the 2nd highest rate of food stamp use in the country. It's a third worldian type economy. The separation between the haves and the have-nots are increasing all over the country, but it's happening first and faster in Miami-Dade, and it's turning into like Thunderdome or Waterworld. It'll be more like Waterworld.
Sure.
Giving Kevin Costner another shout out. He's getting a lot of love on the show today.
Yeah, he is. I know. Yeah. I know. I'm here with Billy Corben, at Billy Corben, C-O-R-B-E-N on Twitter. The film Dogfight, DAWG-FIGHT.com is how you can find it, along with Netflix, released on May 15th. So what did you learn from this experience doing that?
I learned that there are people all over the country, not just in Miami, but there's people all over the country who are willing to do whatever it takes to get their piece of the American dream, to try to make things a little bit better for themselves and their families. And not everybody is born on equal footing. You know, some people are born on third base, and some people are born, you know, not even in the park, you know, and have to fight their way, either literally or figuratively, to get every single morsel of anything they have in this life. And what these guys are willing to do, I think, is a real wake-up call to people who don't share that experience. You know, you don't choose who your parents are, you know? You play the hand you're dealt, and these guys are willing to give it all, because if you not only get injured there's no medical attention, but if you kill another guy in the ring, you're going to prison. The promoter, he's going to prison. So they're literally risking it all out there. And
that's in this film, again, released on Netflix on May 15th. What is your favorite sports film? Which one do you say, like, you got to go see? This is something that you love more than anything else.
Slapshot.
That's the one. Paul Newman, hockey.
Got to do it.
What do you like about Slapshot?
Well, first of all, this is like it's like the worst kept secret in filmmaking. But like, making a sports film is the easiest thing in the world.
Why is that?
Because like everything inherent in drama, you know, conflict, overcoming adversity against all odds, and overcoming obstacles, it's all already built into sports itself. So if you think about it, even like a mediocre sports movie. Let's use Costner as the example, because he has his baseball trilogy, the least of which was the last one was For Love of the Game, I think. You know, he's got Bull Durham, a classic, Field of Dreams, Sublime, you know. But then For Love of the Game, whenever that movie's on TV, like, I still watch it. And I'm still like, this is pretty, like, you still get chills, you know, and you're like, it works.
Costner loves that movie just like as the other 2 previous ones. I mean, that one, I remember he released it during an All-Star game, had the whole media come and take a look at it, and but it just, when you talk about Bull Durham and Field of Dreams,
it's really the lesser of the trilogy, but it still works. Like here's this guy facing immortality, as we all do, at the end of his career. You know, the roar of that crowd, pitching a no-hitter. Spoiler alert, sorry.
That's all right. We have a 24-hour rule here when it comes to a television show.
We're way past that.
Yeah, we are.
It's like a one decade rule, but like, you still, like, I get chills. You get that feeling in your throat, and you're like, okay, like, I saw this in the theater, and I was like, okay, this is the lesser baseball movie, but it still works. Like, so even like even draft day. Like they just work.
Well, it's because I was in it and very real. I was in it very real with what I do for a living, right? With Frank Langella.
Keeping it real.
I kept it real with Frank.
Dracula.
Yeah. Or you would go with Skeletor.
Come on, man. Masters of the Universe.
Yes, Dolph Lundgren. Yeah.
No. He says Frank Langella. Yeah. Frank Langella. When you say Frank Langella, you think Tony Awards, you think Oscars, right?
I think Dracula.
He goes Skeletor.
I go Skeletor, Masters of the Universe.
Let's get
Courtney Cox.
Let's get to the poll question before we allow Billy to hit the streets here in El Segundo. We'll go for it, Brockman.
Who's the best baseball movie character? Crash Davis, Wild Thing Vaughn, Ray Kinsella, Morris Buttermaker, Roy Hobbs.
What do you got?
Oh wow. I'm a Wild Thing guy.
You are, huh?
Yeah, I love Major League so much. I loved it when Oliver Stone turned it into Any Given Sunday. When he turned it into a football movie. It's like the same plot. It really is. It's the same story.
I have never even thought of that.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's basically the same.
I guess
Cameron Diaz. It's the same.
Yeah, the evil.
It's like I'm gonna dump this team. You know, like that's like the whole.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Although one of the great casting of all time is Charlton Heston as the commissioner of the NFL, right? And Charlton Heston was the commissioner.
Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah. Jamie
T.O.
Foxx
was in that.
Jamie Foxx, yeah.
So you go with Rick Vaughn. Is that what's currently leading the poll?
Indeed, 37% Ricky Wild Thing.
It's a generational thing.
Hey, Billy, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Good luck with you on this film, and come back when you got another one, okay?
Thanks for having me.
You got dog-fight.com. There's a W in there for dog. On Netflix as well, released May 15th. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.